Welcome to the world of online learning. We at GK Online Learning Tutorial provides its subscribers the topics from software engineering, project management, quality management, strategic management, mathematics and other topics. Today's topic is software requirement engineering. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel for continuous support.
Next topic is requirement engineering process. So requirement engineering process is a framework for describing the requirement engineering that can be constructed by considering three fundamental concerns of requirement engineering. That is a concern of understanding a problem, the concern of formally describing a problem, and the concern of attaining an agreement on the nature of the problem. Requirement engineering is a process of defining, documenting, and maintaining the requirements. It's a process of gathering and defining service provided by the system. It consists of 4 activities, namely requirement elicitation, requirement specification, requirement verification and validation, and requirement management. The process proposed here, like elicitation, specification, and validation, correspond to the 3 fundamental concepts of requirement engineering, namely understanding, describing, and agreeing on a problem. Each process is described in terms of the following: the purpose of the process, the input to the process and its origins, the activities which takes place during the process and techniques used, the final and intermediate deliverables, and the interaction with the other requirements engineering process. This is a framework for requirement engineering process, starting from elicitation, specification, validation, the user and problem domain. So elicitation with problem domain, the domain knowledge, and problem domain to validation, the domain knowledge. User to elicitation, user's requirement, and validation to user, the models to be valid or validated by the user, and for specification, knowledge and requirements models, request model knowledge and validating the results. Requirement elicitation. Elicitation is the first activity that takes place and continues through the requirement engineering life cycle. There are many reasons for this, with the most obvious one being when you have to solve somebody else's problem, the first thing you have to do is finding out more about it. It's related to the various ways used to gain knowledge about the problem or the project domain and requirements. The various sources of domain knowledge includes customers, business manuals, and existing software of same type, standards, and other stakeholders of the project. The purpose of requirement elicitation. The purpose is to gain of knowledge relevant to the problem, which can be used to produce a formal specification of the software needed to solve the problem. It is not an exaggeration to say that at the end of the requirement engineering phase, the analyst should become an expert on the problem domain. The techniques used for requirements elicitation includes interviews, brainstorming, task analysis, Delphi techniques, prototyping, etc. Elicitation does not produce formal models of the requirements understood. Instead, it widens the domain knowledge of the analyst and thus helping in providing input to the next stage. Inputs to the requirement elicitation. In reality, all of the following can be the source of domain knowledge. That is, requirements can be, or the required information can be obtained from domain experts, literature about the domain, existing software systems in that domain, similar software applications in other domains, national and international standards which constrains the development of software in that domain, other stakeholders in the larger system, example, an organization which will host the software system. Activities and techniques of requirement elicitation. In requirement elicitation, the analyst is presented with the task of identifying all the source of requirement knowledge, acquiring the knowledge, deciding on the relative or relevance of the knowledge to the problem in hand, understanding the significance of the elicited knowledge and its impact on the software requirements. So this is the succession of models is created in requirement engineering. That is starting with something which we don't have any idea. That is been molded, again molded, and then finally comes to a proper information which gives you sufficient or enough knowledge about what we want to design or what should be included in the given software system. Requirement specification. A specification can be viewed as a contract between users and software developers, which defines the desired functional behavior of the software artifact, such as performance, reliability, etc., without showing how such functionality is going to be achieved. That is, it is used to produce formal software requirement models. All the requirements including in the functional as well as non-functional requirements and the constraints as well as specified by these models in totality. During specification, more knowledge about the problems may be required, which can gain trigger in elicitation process. The model used at this stage include entity relationship diagram, data flow diagram, function or functional decomposition diagram, data dictionaries, etc. Purpose of requirement specification. The requirement specification process derives formal software requirements model to be used in subsequent stages of development. The purpose of producing a formal specification model is twofold. That is, the specification model is used as an agreement between the software developers and the users on what constitutes the problem which must be solved by the software system. And second one, the specification model is also a blueprint for the development of the software system. Then comes requirement validation. Requirement validation is an ongoing process of requirement engineering which aims to ensure that the right problem is tackled at any time. In many requirement engineering methods, validation is not considered as a separate activity, but instead is taken as a part of the requirement specification. So let us discuss about both verification and validation. Verification refers to the set of tasks that ensure that the software correctly implements a specific function, whereas that of validation refers to a different set of tasks that ensures that the software that has been built is traceable to customer requirements. If requirements are not validated, errors in the requirement definitions would propagate to the successive stages, resulting in a lot of modifications and rework. Sometimes there may be a chance for the system to fail. The main step for this process include the requirement should be consistent with all the other requirements, that is, no two requirements should conflict with each other. The requirement should be complete in every sense, and the requirement should be practically achievable. Reviews, buddy checks, making test cases, etc. are some of the methods used for this. Purpose of requirement validation. The need for validation appeared at the moment new piece of information is assimilated in the current requirement model, and also when different pieces of information are integrated into a coherent whole. So in addition to the elicitation, specification and validation, we have requirement management also. This requirement management is the process of analyzing, documenting, tracking, prioritizing and agreeing on the requirements and controlling the communications to relevant stakeholders. This stage takes care of changing nature of the requirements. It should be ensuring that the software requirement statement or SRS is as modifiable as possible so as to incorporate changes in requirements specified by the end users at later stages too. Being able to modify the software as per requirements in a systematic and controlled manner is an extremely important part of the requirement engineering process. This is the end of this section. If you are having any queries, please write to me to the email ID given in my channel. Please like, share and subscribe the channel for your continuous support. Thank you.